Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stampin' Up with Jamie. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you're catching this on replay or on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. I always feel like I have it too far away. Let me just push it in a little bit. I'm going to get comments going on my computer and we're going to dive in today. I am using brand new product again because I can't stop using it from the 2020-2021, which is quite the mouthful, annual catalog. This product will be available beginning June 3rd. Hopefully, Stampin' Up! Has let us know that some items are anticipated to go on back order. So, fingers crossed that a lot of this will still be available. We just ask for your patience during all of this. But I'm super excited to dive into tonight's card and kind of walk you through my thought process and how I went about designing it. Sorry, I'm just noticing that on my computer I'm a little off. I'm not centered. That bothers me. I have to center it. Hi everyone. Hello. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Tonight's card, let me show you a little up close. We're using brand new product. Lots of new goodies that I was able to order in my pre-order as a demonstrator. Okay, so let's just dive in here. My card stock that I'm using is Petal Pink. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5 down the middle. We're just going to score that so it stays shut as it should. Now, this beautiful designer series paper that I'm using is new. It is called, hold on, I gotta flip it over, In Good Taste. It will be in the new annual catalog. If you remember and are familiar with I think it was called Wood Textures, if I'm not mistaken, designer series paper that was available last year and the year before that. It's kind of has a taste of it. It kind of reminds me of it, which I'm so happy because I use that paper all the time, constantly. So let me, before we get in tonight, I just wanted to show you a little sneak peek of the paper because it's beautiful and it deserves to be showcased. Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. So this is 12 by 12 paper. So our Wood Textures was 6 by 6. It was smaller. So this is great. This is 12 by 12. It's a ginormous pack of paper. It has, I think, 24. It has 24, so 12 patterns. It's double what our normal designer series paper pack would give you. Wow, that's another tongue twister. Okay, so this is beautiful. It's got this natural wood grain. I think I'm excited to use this even for like scrapbooking. So there's that. I'm going to walk you through because honestly, the paper is beautiful and I really want to showcase it. I didn't have it at the time that I did my unboxing video. So we'll count this as kind of unboxing this paper. Here's another one. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but up close, it almost looks navy. Actually, I think it is navy. Navy with like black and then like a cream or a tan. This is another wood grain, like a darker one. Beautiful. And let me also say that when Stampin' Up, these are actual photographed images. So that's another wood grain. This is like a concrete, I'm all tongue-tied. Concrete, like a gray, like a slate. Another wood grain. This has a little bit more noticeable grain to it. Again, a darker wood. So one of the coordinating colors is Petal Pink. I'm assuming that's what this is. Oh, good, Denise. I'm so glad. I noticed that all my local customers, all their catalogs went to North Carolina. So I'm glad you got yours. I think all my out-of-town customers got theirs. So yay, I'm so glad. This is like a fabric pattern. This is like a paint on a canvas. Looks very like 3D. This too is like the same thing, but this is more white with tan tones and this is more white with blue tones. This is another wood tone, but definitely on the lighter side, not so quite so dark as the other ones. Ooh, this is fun. This is another like fabric. Again, it's got more blue, black, and tan tones. So pretty. I hadn't seen that one before. And then another light wood tone. So a couple dark wood tones, a couple light tones. I don't know if I can flip this all over together. Can I do it? Ooh, I can do it. And on the back, we have more like tile. So we have this guy, which I apologize for the light on my light here. Nice tiles. So these were tiles that are actually photographed. They were actual photographs. This is more canvas, again, with like a white and pink on painting on canvas. This I love so much. I want to like, I don't know, make this a home decor. I want to like frame this somehow in my house and make it part of my home decor. So pretty. Love it. Like a navy. More tiles, smaller tiles. This is like a woven image, almost like I want to call it like a soft suede color. Really pretty. Another tile, kind of in a chevron design. Another tile here. Actually, is that tile or is that wood? I can't really tell, to be honest with you. Maybe it's faux wood and it's tile. Ooh, this is fun. Beautiful. Again, kind of blue undertones. Very subtle in there. This is another woven one. Oh, gorgeous. I kind of just want to make this some sort of like home decor in my house. Those are like a misty moonlight, night of navy, dark blue. And then this is the last one here, another tile. So very pretty. Anyway, so all that to say, that's where I get my wood from today. So it was that very first one on the opposite side. It has the sort of hexagon tiles on the back. So pretty. And this, the coordinating colors are, let me just read here quickly. Basic gray, early espresso, gray granite, a night of navy, petal pink, rococo rose. Okay, so the darker pink-ish tones with the rococo rose. Smoky slate, very vanilla, and whisper white. So I think this paper pairs really pretty with the petal pink because it almost has like a pink undertones in it, which makes it just really, really pretty. So this gets adhered down. My adhesive is running low. Hopefully it doesn't die on me in the middle of this video. If it does, I'll have to swap it out. So pretty. Okay. So next we're going to work on our floral here. So let me show you. Let me grab it. It's from the Jar of Flowers bundle. This is brand new. Again, available beginning June 3rd in the new annual catalog. It is reversible. So this guy here isn't its actual own stamp. It's the back of this. And same for these guys. This isn't, it's not a separate stamp. It's the back of that one. And we have these beautiful big flowers. I started off making this one. Oops, sorry, you have a glare there. I started off making this one and it just sort of developed and then I fussy cut it out. But I decided not to use it tonight just because it was a little bit more in depth. But that kind of showcases this one down here, the tulips. The one we're using tonight is this one here, which I think they're roses. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a flower person by no means. I really have no clue what I'm talking about. I think they're roses. So I'm going to just start stamping. Now, here's the thing. Let me give you my, okay. So this guy here, I stamped the outlines in Memento Black and it is beautiful to color and it really makes it pop. But if you're looking for a softer look with the Stampin Blends, I recommend stamping not in black, but in our basic gray. And that's what I did. So I stamped my jar and everything else is stamped in basic gray. And I think it just adds for a more, in this case, maybe rustic, just like a softer edge as opposed to stamping in the black. Now, oops. as I drop my cardstock. Hold on. I can't get it. There we go. Okay. I'm using a huge piece of Whisper White. You don't need one this big, but I do find that I guess I could go that way with it. But because I'm stamping 2 different images, I just want to make sure, you know, you don't want to stamp too low and then not be able to save enough room to cut it out. But I think, yeah, I'm going to stamp this way. So this is like just shy of 6 inches high. So I'm going to go, I can definitely, actually, I think I will trim it down a little bit. That was a bit excessive of me. Okay, so we'll work with that. That's a little smaller. So first let's stamp the jar. So there's the jar. It's got this fun, like, sort of highlighting on it, I guess is how I would say that. I'm stamping it in the basic gray on my Whisper White. Whoop. There we go. And then, so here, these flowers look like small, right? But it's actually a huge stamp. That's the stamp. It's like 3 inches long, or wide, I should say. So I'm going to ink that up in the basic gray as well and stamp it so that the bottom of the flowers are pretty much touching. I think they are actually touching the top of the jar. Yeah. Now I could have left it like that. I think that's really pretty. But Stampin' Up! Included these really fun like stems. So I'm like, yeah, why not? So the stems, I'm just going to stamp right over the jar itself, again, in the basic gray. Now, I stamp them right to the top of my jar. I have seen other people stamp like at the bottom of the lid because you also have a lid image, which I did consider using, but then I decided not to. So, you know, just depending on if you have a lid to your jar, you can either stamp the stems to the top of the jar or like to the bottom of the lid. To help that make sense. Okay. So actually, while I have my basic gray out, I'm just going to stamp the sentiment. Just to really confuse you guys. So my sentiment comes from another new stamp set. This is the Many Mates stamp set. It's so fun, so great. I'm actually using it for my card tomorrow because you can kind of pair a big sentiment with sort of a smaller sentiment. So I'm using the Just Thinking of You. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that in basic gray on a piece of petal pink. And then I'm going to set that aside. I'll cut that out in a second. But while I had my ink pad open, I might as well have just done all the stamping at once. So we're going to color this bad boy in. I have light and dark of petal pink, Stampin' Blends, light and dark of soft seafoam, light and dark of mossy meadow, and light and dark of soft suede. Okay, so I'm going to kind of push them off the side. After I pull them out, I'm going to set them aside. I'm going to start with my flowers, and I'm going to start with the light Stampin' Blends, light petal pink brush end. Because I'm literally, and I say this I think every time, going to throw this color on. You don't have to worry about staying in the lines. Just trying to fill the flowers in. But I also want to make sure I fill in the flowers and don't accidentally do like a leaf or something. So just be mindful of that. Okay. I think that's part of the flower too. Now these guys, I think they're peonies. I don't know, but I colored them in the same color as my rose because I like less colors. So for the sake of not having to pull in another color, I colored those with my petal pink as well. Now I'm going to come with my dark petal pink and sort of at the bottom, I'm not going to overthink it, of my petals, I'm going to add just a little shade of dark. And then in the middle too, I'm going to kind of fill that in. I'm using the brush stroke side again because I want to cover ground. But if you want to work smaller space, you can definitely use the more fine tip edge. Very simple. It looks darker to me. I think the camera lightens it with my lights, my lights here, but I have it darker. So that's it for the petal pink. You can set those aside. Now I just realized I totally lost my sample card. No clue what I did with it. Oh, there it is. Okay, I have to make sure I color it the same way I did in my sample. Okay, so next I have a soft seafoam green. I'm going to use the light one first. This one I'm using to color these guys in, these kind of things that stick out. And I'm going to use the fine tip edge just because they are. No, forget that. I'm going to use the brush stroke. I'm not gonna try and be too particular. So throw the color on. Then I'm going to come with my dark one. The dark one, I think I will use the fine tip because I'm just literally like putting a line under each of those little things. There's a name for them. Where are my florists? Where's my mom? She would know the name of all these flowers. I just don't know. Okay, Mossy Meadow. Again, I'm going to start with the light one, brush end, and this is for my leaves. Okay, whew. I double to check I was using my light one. Have you ever thought you had a light Stampin' Blend marker and you actually were coloring with the dark and you're like, why is this so dark? Well, because you picked up the wrong one. I have done that so many times. Actually, in my sample, I did it. I accidentally colored those straight up with the dark soft suede. So I'm coloring in my leaves like that. If you're using the brush side, such a tongue twister. Just go slow. And then this is the dark, and I'm gonna just not overthink it. I'm going to go right down the middle and then maybe along the side and the bottom. If I wanted to blend them so that the color, you don't see the lines so much, I would come back with my light blends and do that. Kind of push them together. But I like that you can kind of see the line. You do it all the time. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I do it all the time. Okay, so I have my light soft suede. I'm going to use the fine tip because these guys are quite small. So again, I don't know what the names. I don't even think these things are the same thing, but I colored them the same for the sake of not having too many colors on my card. Is that it? Yes, okay. And then I'm going to color the stems the same color. This time I'm going to use the brush just to make it go a little faster, but just keep a steady hand. This was a little tricky because I had to find like where the stem was and color it all the way down because it's kind of hard to find like what's a stem, like that's a stem. What's a stem and what's just the negative of a stem. So just take your time. If you accidentally color it wrong, color like the negative instead of a stem. No one's ever going to know the difference. No one will call you out. Well, I hope not. Oh my goodness. That would be bad. I returned this card because you colored it wrong. Okay, so that's the light. And I'm going to come with the dark and use the fine tip edge just to add. I'm literally like just tapping those little bits that I colored already. And then for my stems, I'm just going to kind of put some long strokes of dark just to give a little bit of a contrast. But I'm really not overthinking it. There. Okay. Ta-da! Pretty, right? Okay, so, oh, you love it already? Good, Heather. I'm so glad. Yay! So I initially left it like this, and I'm gonna, confession time, I left it like this, meaning I didn't add the vellum until about 10 minutes before the video. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to add some vellum to make it look like an actual jar, right? Because an actual jar isn't necessarily that see-through. So what's it called? Jar of Flowers actually coordinates with a punch. So the punch is called, oh dear, I didn't look and I don't have the catalog next to me. The punch is called something, probably jar punch. And I just took a piece of vellum, cardstock. I love vellum, so fun. And I punched it out. Now I could have stamped the gray and then cut it out again, but because it was sort of an afterthought, I didn't do that. It is jar punch. Okay. I knew it was going to be something really obvious. Thank you, Heather. Now, the thing with vellum is that where you put adhesive, you'll be able to see it because it is see-through cardstock. So I'm going to put the adhesive just on the right here because this guy's going to cover it and you're not even going to see the adhesive. Oops, and I got some of my thing there. So it's a little bigger than your stamped image. I just realized I probably should have cut that out first before doing that, but that's okay. So we might as well cut it out then. Okay, so let me move everything. You know, I'm using my favorite. I love it so much. The rectangle stitched framelits dies. I use them all the time. This rectangle measures, oh, like 3 1/8 by 4 1/2. It fits like perfect. Like the end to end, it like, whoo, it's a tight one. So in my die cutting machine off screen here, I'm just going to line it up and put it through. Oh, here we go. Cut it out. Throw that away. Oh, good, Susan. Thank you. I'm glad you like that. It was very much an afterthought, but it just kind of gives the illusion. If you don't like it, you could have just left it like straight like that, like I had for most of the time. So there's our beautiful, it almost pained me to cover so much of this wood paper because it's so pretty. And did I take out dimensionals? I thought I did. Oh, yes, I did. Okay. So I'm going to tear this down with dimensionals because I think it just, when I'm doing a simple card, and I would consider this a simple card because there's not very many layers. I like to just use dimensionals to kind of add a little bit of pizzazz. I love vellum, although I had to use wax paper one time. Oh my goodness, Lynn, that's hysterical. Did it work? Like, I guess it's kind of similar, right? Wax paper. It's probably not as thick, right? It probably doesn't. That's hysterical. I wonder if we can cook with our vellum. Let's not try it. Cook cookies. Okay, so this I centered right onto the card. Well, I attempted to. I think it's pretty straight. Okay, so our sentiment we already stamped. Again, if you missed it, it's the Many Mates stamp set. Again, available June 3rd. Yay. And I cut it out. Oh my goodness. What did I do with the... Oh, there they are. Woo! I couldn't find the dies for a second. That would have been bad. I cut it out with another one of my favorites. These are dies that are carrying over from the mini catalog that we have right now. Stitched So Sweetly dies. Love them. And I'm using the smallest one. And it really fits it perfectly. I stamped it completely crooked. Look at that. It's like it's meant for each other. So off screen here, I'm just going to line it up on my die cutting machine. Run it through. And, oh, so pretty. And I like it because it also gives a stitched edge, which coordinates with my stitched rectangle. So it's like I'm keeping with the stitched theme. And I adhered this down with dimensionals as well because you can never have enough. And I lost my dimensional there. Now, I've said this before, so I might be repeating myself. But so I don't put dimensionals this way. If I put a dimensional here and I put a dimensional here and I put them both down, because this one already has a dimensional, they're going to be like lopsided. It's going to be like this, right? So I'm only going to put dimensionals here. This end will kind of be flapping in the wind, but that's okay. It won't go anywhere. I have to remember to use the gray inks to make it look softer. Yep. Yes, I just like it, Lisa. Not always. I mean, I use my black a lot, but if I'm like you said, a softer look, I definitely will go for the gray. In this case, basic gray. I don't think I've tried with the other grays, but I don't see why you couldn't. You just would have a not so dark outline. I have them there, like, center to the jar a little bit. And just because I wanted to add a little extra touch, it's very, very subtle, but I didn't want too much bling on the card, but I thought a little bling would be nice, and they are carrying over. So I have the, look at this, I've used quite a few of these. Champagne rhinestones, the smallest one. And I added one just next to the sentiment. Again, goodness, it's such a small detail, but when I keep things on the simpler side, I like to add just like little things. The lighter grays are awesome with blends too. Oh, good to know, Amy. Thank you. I haven't tried it. I've only used the basic gray, but now I'll have to try it. So there we go, folks. Again, new product coming out June 3rd. Catalogs did go out. So unless you're local, you probably have received yours. And let me know if you are in need of a catalog. Check out my product share where you'll get a sample of all the new paper, including the In Good Taste Designer Series paper that I just showed. And if you haven't left a comment yet and would like a chance to win tonight's card, be sure to quickly leave a comment of some sort, because as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to draw a name for someone to win tonight's card. Thank you everyone for joining me, and I will see you next week. Take care now. Bye-bye.